Hello, St. Ambrose. We are beginning our Lenten journey, and on that journey, we have a spiritual life that we would like to cultivate through our practices of fasting, almsgiving, and prayer. One of the beautiful things about our Catholic tradition is that there are many spiritual masters that can guide us as we reflect on the state of our souls and how we can grow in union with God more deeply this season. Certainly through prayer, there are many ways that we can reach out to God. And God is bringing us along a path of perfection, seeking to draw more and more out of us. And in Catholic tradition, there are 3 stages or ways that we can experience a journey toward God. One of them is called a purgative way, trying to do away with our attachments to sin and those things that get in the way of our love of God and neighbor. And there's also what's called an illuminative way, that we receive inspiration and guidance from God, who reveals his truth to us so as to lead us into the light, away from the darkness. And thirdly, there is what's called a unitive stage or way, in which we seek closer union with God himself. Jesus had taught us in the Gospel of John that he and the Father are one, and he invites us also into that unity. So turning away from sin, receiving God's light, and seeking union with God are all ways that we are journeying toward God. God is our end goal in all things, and the spiritual teachings of our church and the many saints who have given us wisdom about spirituality are what we might take to heart this Lent. In our Faith Formation, we are looking at, in a 6-session series, different spiritual paths and saints who inspire our church. One of them we looked at this past Sunday is St. Francis de Sales, his book, An Introduction to the Devout Life. And in this text, St. Francis de Sales advises us to seek freedom from sin through prayer. And he offers various meditations and recommendations for our prayer life that we might think of taking on this Lent. In addition to our good works or our fasting from things, we might also take on a richer prayer life, as he would suggest. But in addition to prayer, we also need the sacraments. And you could say that prayer and sacraments, as Francis de Sales says, are like the 2 parts of the ladder, and you can climb the ladder closer and closer to God's love through prayer and sacraments. So the more we pray and seek deeper union with God, and the more we attend to the sacraments of our church, especially reconciliation and Eucharist, we can be more like Christ. And that's what this season is all about, trying to be like Christ, who himself died for us and then rose again. When we are marked with the ashes on Ash Wednesday, we are in fact taking on the sort of death Jesus died, symbolically, because we are all going to die one day, because that's not the end of the story. God has for us resurrection. And so we walk the path of Jesus this Lent to come out on the other side of it, risen from the dead, which is our hope for the resurrection of the body that we profess in the Creed. So, to summarize, this Lent we are on a spiritual path, a journey towards God. And in our Adult Faith Formation series, we're going to be looking at these masters of Catholic spirituality to guide us along this journey. We will be doing this every week between our 9 and 11 Masses until April 6th. So please join us as we look at Catholic traditions of spirituality.